Hello boys and girls, Mr. Mazer here. This week we're going to be making some art using a technique called collage, and we're going to be learning more about shapes because artists love to use shapes in their artworks, so that's what we're going to do. To start, we're going to read the book Circle Rolls by Barbara Cannonen. Circle rolls. Oval rocks. Square sits like a box. Circle rolls. Rectangle stands. Triangle points without any hands. Circle rolls. Never stops. Hits points. Circle pumps. Circle drops as tiny bits, which land on square as it sits. Square sneezes, diamond trips. Pushes star, star tips. Star tumbles end to end, bumps line, makes it bend. Bent line becomes a slide, shapes glide and fly and collide. Whirl, twirl, flip, flop. Octagon says, shapes, stop. Star rises, buffs its shine. Untips diamond, all straight in line. Heart appears and gathers bits off the ground where square sits. They piece together one bit, two, using tape and globs of glue. Heart double checks, no more holes, ready, set. Circle rolls. Now, we learned about some really good shapes there. So, this week, for art, you're gonna need a glue bottle, a piece of paper, some different colors of construction paper, and some crayons. Now, if you don't have any construction paper, you can use an old magazine and cut out pieces from this, or you could just draw your shapes with a crayon. Now, first off, we're going to start by cutting up some shapes. Now, we want to have a nice variety of shapes to choose from. So I'm going to cut some rectangles, some squares. I'm going to do a circle. Maybe some ovals. Those are the long, skinny circles. And if you want to do some more advanced shapes, like stars or hearts. Maybe since I have pink, I'll do a heart shape too. Now, Mr. Mazer is a very experienced artist, as I've had a lot of practice. But if you haven't, sometimes what's easier to do is to take your shape and draw it first, and then cut it out. So if that helps you, but it's always good to practice. So the more shapes you can cut out, the better it will be. Now, oh, you know what I'm missing? I'm missing some triangles. So I'm going to do some tall ones And I'm going to do some short ones. A triangle always has 3 sides. I'm going to need some red shapes. I'm going to do a rectangle and a red triangle. And I think that should be enough. Now, we're going to turn all of these beautiful shapes into a collage. And that's when you glue shapes to an artwork. So, I'm going to turn all of these things into something that they're not. So, like in circle rolls, if I want to take those shapes and turn them into people, I could do that. If I want to turn them into, say, something like a house, or I could put it up in the sky and turn it into a rocket, which I like a rocket ship, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take my glue. Now to use a glue bottle, you need to twist it open. You can see how it pops up when you twist it open, just like that. And if you squeeze it, you see some glue come out. Now, Mr. Mazer has a saying that we always do in class when it comes to using glue bottles. It's just a dot, not a lot. So, boys and girls at home, can you please say that with me? Just a dot, not a lot. And that means I just use one little dot of glue, put it on there, and that will keep my shape sticking to the paper, see? Just a dot. Now if you use a whole bunch more, if you use a big fat dot of glue, what happens is when you push it on the paper, it's going to squish out all the sides and it's going to make your paper real soggy and bumpy, and that is not good. We do not want that to happen. So we're just going to use little dots. And I'm going to take this yellow circle, which I think would be a perfect sun. And maybe I'm going to turn this into a house. Now it's a little too big of a house for my roof, so I'm going to trim a little bit off there. And also, let's see, I think I'm going to turn this green, I'm going to turn this into something over here. And I think I'm going to use green. I'm going to turn this into a little triangle guy like in the story. Now, once I've put my shapes on, then I'm going to use my crayons to draw on top of those shapes and make them look like the different things that I want them to. So, for the triangle, I'm going to turn that into Mr. Triangle from the story. So I'm going to give him his eyes. And you know what? I remember he was actually wearing glasses in the story. So I'm going to turn those into glasses. And I'm going to give him some eyebrows. And maybe a little mouth there. And some feet, like he's going for a walk. And some arms. Maybe I'll put a couple fingers on there. Now, if this is my house, what could I add to it to make it look more like a house? Let's see, I'm going to go and use a purple crayon. I'm going to draw another rectangle on here. That's going to be my door. Maybe I have some square windows. Maybe upstairs we have circle windows and rectangle windows. Now, this green circle over here, I think I'm going to turn that into a beautiful flower. So I'm going to draw some flower petals. And I think I need a green stem for my flower. I'll put a little leaf on there too. Now my rocket ship flying through the air, I think that needs some fire coming out of the back. And My son could use some rays, just like this. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. All right, so your challenge this week, boys and girls, is to use some cutout shapes. So practice cutting the different shapes like circles and triangles and rectangles and squares and hearts and anything you can think of, and using those to create a collage work of art. Have fun, and we'll see you next week.